good day, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Healed with Seth the Speaker. I am Seth, and it is a great day in the neighborhood to connect with you. First of all, if this is your first time tuning in or listening to this podcast and this YouTube section of Seth the Speaker, what we talk about is individuals or situations that disrupt our natural living or our natural walk in life. And we talk about the situation or the traumatic issue and how we may have mentally processed it, or how did our bodies kind of go through whatever situation to come from the traumatic side to the triumph. Now, don't get me wrong, it is named Healed for a reason, because that's the ultimate goal, but it is a process, right on. So that is what I do, and I love to do this, not just for myself, but also for you. Just giving. Now, if you appreciate what I do and you like what you hear, feel free to go to Patreon. All right, patreon.com/healed. That's an opportunity for you to get more information. We have training and other behind the scenes conversations with our guests. So again, that is Healed on Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/healed, you will see all of that information. And I appreciate it. I will most definitely appreciate it. And also, too, there's an opportunity for you to be a part of the next book of the Black Collar Mindset, Part 2. Trust me, you're going to love that. You're really going to love and appreciate that. And then you can check me out on SethTheSpeaker.com. List all the things that I have going on and how you can be a part of that. All right. So one last time, that's SethTheSpeaker.com, or go to patreon.com/healed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're in some crazy times. You know, it's funny. That's how you know you're getting old, right? Because they talk about, hey, it's the crazy times, right? The end of the world is here, or whatever. But what I see more so is a lack of the importance of mental health. We talk about it, but what does it really mean? And I would say it's understanding who you are and having a transparent, a realistic goal of, or not necessarily goal, but a picture of the world. All right. What do you see? Are you able to process it? Are you able to hold yourself accountable? And are you able to really move in the direction that you want to move in? Right. And understanding that there's two things in the world: you have your choices and the consequences. However, I don't know if it's music, I don't know if it's social media, I don't know if it's just passed down information, false truths, what they call it, fake news. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, there is a mental health crisis going on. And maybe it's a new buzzword. I don't know, but let's just say people run around crazy as a Betsy book for no apparent reason. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, but to the men, to our brothers, all right, to our young men and to our older gentlemen. But what is it that we're doing, and what are we not doing? And if this is your first time on, make sure that you're sharing this or subscribing and everything, so we can stay up to date on conversations like that. And then let me know, hey, wait a minute, Seth, you missed the mark on this. This is what I think it is. Okay, prove me wrong. Right? Not necessarily, but still, we can have this conversation as adults, because it takes a village, right? It takes a village. So let me introduce to you the guest for today, y'all. I'm super dope about it, and you're going to see why in a minute, all right? But Mr. Andre Charley, okay? He's the founder of Affecting Change LLC, where he's a full-time private practice, and he has a practice, as a clinical therapist located in the Metro Detroit area. Yeah, 313 up in the building always. But anyway, he started the practice in 2009 out of the passion to counsel others in the community. Man, super dope. So his desire is to make a positive difference in the lives of those he encounters, whether it's personally or professionally. He wants other people's lives to be better, okay, because they have met. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me give Mr. Andre a round of applause. There you go. What up, though?
Hey, what's up, man?
Man, my man, my man. Well, man, so look, I want to thank you for agreeing to be on the Healed and us having this conversation, affecting change. I love it. So you look, in your own words, man, tell our audience a little bit about yourself, man.
Man, I am just a boy from the west side of Detroit.
I ain't gonna hold that against you.
Man, just out here trying to make a difference. I stumbled across, how to be a social worker and be a therapist and all that. By God, man, I didn't know. I just wanted to make a change. So I went in, I was going to go into education. I was going to go be a music teacher because that's all I knew. I had a trumpet. I know I could, play, and I knew that I could go to college because one of my mentors was my music teacher. He helped me to understand that, hey, I can go to college with this. So I figured I would go and be a music teacher and help other kids like he helped me. And it just kind of spiraled from there because I was like, hey, I didn't know that I could go and be a social worker, a juvenile probation officer, or I could work with other individuals, not just be a music teacher. So
that's super dope. That's super dope. Now, what high school did you go to?
I graduated from Oak Park. So I went to DPS until 10th grade, which was high school at Murray Wright. And then I went over to Oak Park 10th through 12th grade and graduated.
Okay. Super dope. Super, super dope. So you were in the band?
I was in the band, played the trumpet for 9 years.
Did you? Wow, wow. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I had a little stint with the drums, but when I went to high school, my high school was Davis Aerospace.
Yes, sir.
Right behind the airport. And as you know, look, we didn't have a football team, a band, another. Hey, all we had was ROTC and the chess club.
Right, man. But you got those planes, man. So
planes, right. So we learned a lot on that. But man, look, back to you though, man. It's super dope. I mean, getting into that field and everything. So what was it? What was the pivotal point? Right, because here you are on the west side of Detroit, and you're seeing these kids. No, I'm joking, but seriously, because it's the same thing, right? And it's still going on today, unfortunately. But what is it? What was it that you saw that said, "Look, I really need to, hone in on my talents of not just playing the instruments, but connecting with these kids." What was it that happened?
Yeah, so I got a job, and for me, I was just in the right place at the right time, man. I was in school and I had started the whole social work intro class. And one of the girls was trying to offer another young man a job because they needed someone in this program. It was a partial hospitalization program. And I'm thinking, like, what is that? So she looked, because he wouldn't do the application. She looked at me jokingly and said, hey, you want a job? And I'm thinking, yeah, I got to pay my own way through school. So she gave me the information. I interviewed, and I had to be 21 or within 6 months because of the regulations of that program.
Okay.
But they called me back and said, we can't give you that, but we would like to have you in our residential program because we could take you in under 21. And that's how I started, and realized that the young man connected with me. It was a group home for 6 boys at a time that have been abused, neglected, or adjudicated. So they maybe have been removed from home because their parents, for whatever reason, couldn't take care of them, or they have been abused and neglected, or they got in trouble in the juvenile system and they got to do some time there. So that started my stint, man. I got connected with the youth, and I did my internship with the agency. It was Children's Services in Ohio, and I fell in love. I kind of realized that I had something to offer because my childhood was a little rough. So I was able to kind of guide them and let them know my story, and we just connected from there.
Right. That's super dope, man. I had an opportunity to be a keynote speaker at was I a keynote speaker? Well, I was a speaker, right, at this there was this project with the local fraternity here, the Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and they have a program called Project Alpha, right? And that's when you're connecting and talking to young boys about, growth and all things, practicing safe sex and everything. But I took the opportunity to communicate about where I was from. All right. And
Mhm.
the things that I went through and the things that I experienced. And it's like the kids can see through BS,
Right.
right? But for some reason, they just connected, right? Because I was talking to them the way that if I was in a seat, I would understand what someone was saying, right? So, what was it that you used to connect to the young men?
So it was almost like a natural thing, though. I didn't try too hard because it was just a thing that was given to me by God, honestly, because I didn't know anything about, being a mentor or counseling somebody, anything. It was just that I was that person that people felt comfortable talking to. So that's how I started with that. But with the young guys, I would kind of hang out with them. I would take them to the basketball court, let them hoop a little bit. We would go to movies, or we'd go to the mall. Took them to just any outing that they would want as a group, and we was I worked like their whole Saturday, their whole Sunday. So I was there 9 hours on Saturday, 9 hours on Sunday every weekend. So it was just a place where we could bond and talk. We had family time where we would have dinner and everything, teaching them how to come to the table and eat stuff I didn't get. And I
See,
had an idea of, but I didn't necessarily always get that.
right.
So I knew some things, but there was a lot of different moving parts, and it just kind of fell into place. And I let them know that they could talk to me, I could talk to them. I didn't judge them. I understood where they were coming from and why some of them had made some of the decisions they made. And it was that was just the beginning.
And I love that, man. I love that. And that's super dope. Now, when I had the conversation and working with the kids and talking to them, right? So not working with them, but really talking to them, what I've realized is that there's still a need of validation. You
Mhm.
get what I'm saying? Because you're going into, this puberty and then, you in the streets and all this other stuff, but you still want to be appreciated and you want individuals to see you and acknowledge you. Did you see that that was like the same thing that these young men were dealing with?
Yeah, absolutely. Because they were the discounted ones, the ones that was counted out, nobody believed in, which is what kind of led a couple of them to the streets and selling drugs or running away. I had an 11-year-old that was an alcoholic. Man, come on.
No.
So yeah, that was one of the most eye-opening cases because he had the need of treatment and they wanted to put him in residential, and I had to fight that case because I'm like, this boy would not get what he needs in residential. They put him in residential, but I was able to at least write down my thoughts as to why residential was not the most appropriate placement. So I got a chance to do a little bit of that advocating for the youth too.
Mhm.
But it was really important to hear them. It's really important to make sure that they knew that they were a person, they were human. They made mistakes, they may have done things, but it's not the end of the world. And I can help them realize that they see their worth, see they have value, see that they were a person that could change their future by the decisions that they make every day. And it was tough. It wasn't easy. It was really hard because we're still talking about teenage kids that are hurting.
That's right. That's right. And not only hurting, but not knowing how to be vulnerable,
Right.
right? Not knowing how to be, acknowledged like, hey, listen, we all hurt. You know what I'm saying? We all hurt. And so it's crazy too, because you're connecting to them in a different vein as far as an adult, but acknowledging the hurt that they feel that they're still trying to process.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy. So, man, look, I got another question though. So when you're talking to these young men, what is I would say the common conversation that comes up or that you find yourself really diving deep in and that you see is like, okay, look, I see there's a theme. And do you think it's a um situation within the same general area, right? Would you say it's the nurture, right? Something that's
Mhm.
going on at home, or would you say it's
Yeah.
the nature of just being, where they're from?
Yeah, man. It could be a combination of the nature and the nurture, their environment versus how they raise. A lot of them have the need to feel connected.
Yes.
One common thing that I can remember over and over is not necessarily having that male, not necessarily having a person that they can identify with. So one of the examples I remember a young man was saying, well, what do you do when the person you only have access to a person that reminds you of yourself ends at 3 o'clock?
Mm,
The school system. And another one's like, yeah, because I can't connect with my mom. I definitely would say I disconnect because the moment I do something, the yelling starts,
that's
and that's all I hear. So I don't do anything. I'm invisible. I don't talk to her. Then you have the other ones that just stay in trouble because they are seeking some form of attention.
yes.
Doesn't matter how they get it, they just need that attention. So those some of those things are like the common theme in those teenage years that I had experienced with some of the youth,
Mm,
aside from deficits in school or the behaviors would come up because they didn't know how to do some of the school work. So you see behaviors and you believe the behaviors because they're acting out because they are quote unquote bad, but they're really acting out because they're avoiding the work that they don't know how to do because they didn't get something what they needed in the earlier years in school.
I get you. I'm glad that you said that too, man. That made me think of a situation. I remember having a guest many moons ago talk about how the school system may see a child that's acting out, like you said, quote unquote, acting out. However, what they don't know is that, when this child goes home, they may be the oldest of many other children. So now, when the parent, let's say in single parent, let's just say single parent family, this child now has to make sure all the other children is good to go, cook, right? And then do whatever homework they have to do, if they can even muster that, and then try to get enough sleep. And oh, by the way, that's on a Tuesday. So they got to go back to school on Wednesday. And so now the teacher's like, look, I need you to be more attentive. Boom, 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 boom. Now this child really could be A, hungry, and
Yeah,
B, tired and frustrating, right? So have you
absolutely.
seen that situation?
Yes, I've seen that situation and I've seen it in me.
Mm,
I was about 11 years old when my father had another relationship because my mom died when I was 6. Had another relationship. This young lady was had a child, and I was made to be the full-time babysitter. So I would have to watch my sister newborn through the night and get up and go to school the next morning. And she would cry and do what kids do all
right.
through the night, or sleep half the night and be up. And they would be off in the street doing whatever they're doing. And I would have to sit there until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning when they get home. And I would have to go to school and still perform. So
Wow.
yeah, I mean that happens often on some of our kids' situations where they are the one because mom may work or dad may work or they both may work through the night or afternoons, and they are the primary caretaker while their parents make the money for the family.
Bro.
Yeah.
You
So that
see,
is typical.
that's the reality though.
Yeah, yeah, and when you have that, you have distractibility, you have irritability, you have the fact that you may be hungry, and then sometimes you want to escape, so you might even skip school because you need a nap, you want to go to sleep, you don't want to be bothered, and you have all these things going on simultaneously, and all you get done, you get the punishment for not doing what you're supposed to do for the age and stage in which you're in, but nobody knows your story.
Wow, bro. See, see. First of all, thank you for saying that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Mr. Andre. He up in the building, y'all, talking about connecting with these kids. Seriously. And I do appreciate it because that's some things that I believe certain parents don't think about. Only thing they think, they are in survival mode, right? They don't have the formal training of emotional intelligence,
Right,
don't know how to communicate with their child versus at their child. You
right,
see, it's two different things, you see. And then when when the children aren't opening up and talking to them, to your point, you're yelling all the time because of what I'm not doing, but you're not looking at what started the fire. You just mad at the smoke.
right. Right,
Mm.
absolutely. And you didn't take care of the smoke, the fire, you didn't get the water, you didn't handle it. I raised you to do all of that, and you haven't done anything. What is wrong with you? I'm out here trying to make money. Well, my mindset is at about 13 or 14, And I didn't know to do all that. I couldn't think that far ahead. I just grabbed the kid and left and went outside. I don't know.
See, and you know what? It's so funny, man. I talk to people about this all the time, as far as you talking to your children at the lens from the lens of, let's say, a mid 30 to 40-year-old person, but you're expecting them to digest something at the age of 13, 14 years old. It didn't happen. It's not realistic. And the crazy part is, we've been there, they've
Yeah,
never been here.
exactly.
So you can't make it make sense. Like, how many times I got to tell you, to be completely honest, as many times as you need to.
Yeah.
Speak on that, brother. What do you think about that? How would you talk to parents about gaining a level of patience?
So a lot of parents tend to not remember what it's like to be that age. They remember the number, but they don't remember how they felt. They don't remember the deficits they had, because we have 30 years or 25 years or 15 years since we were their age, and we think that we were more wise than we were. But really and truly, until our elders start telling us the story, we realized that, oh, I mixed up some things. I was actually 18 when that happened and not 11.
See,
So we don't know that, especially, you don't even add in abnormalities where you have the traumas and things and there, because all your timelines is off then.
oh yeah,
So you think that, oh, I did it, I did it when I was your age. You should be able to do it too. Did you really? You
did
had
you
a
really?
mama that was there. You had your auntie that was there, and then my grandma was there too, and y'all all worked together to make this happen. But it's only me. I'm the only child, and then you want me to do all these things.
See,
So it's a lot to put on a child.
oh,
So I kind of help to allow a parent to walk it back a little bit and think about age, stage, natural development, the ability, what can a kid realistically do at this age. So you got to go through those stages of development a lot to help kids, to help parents understand that even if they did some of these things, or if you did some of these things, you're a little advanced, you're more advanced than where you should be. And was it fair? How did you feel in these moments?
there you
And
go,
bring that back to the empathy part.
bruh. And that's, again, right, having that empathy and looking at things in a different way.
Mhm.
Like, just because you did A, B, C, and D, first of all, even though your child is a part of you and
Mhm.
have certain, look like you, got the same kind of walk, maybe crooked smile, this is still another individual that is born and raised in a different time,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So it's kind of hard to expect your child to be, to be willing or have the same type of work ethic that you have when they don't have a real reason to. Like, you don't got to go out and start milking cows because you had to. Maybe because you had to,
You have,
what I'm saying?
you have
You know, but I mean, real talk. So then, if you don't have that level of empathy and grace and say, all right, look, my child, like, for example, here I am, right, in the suburb. I can't expect my daughter to have the same type of wherewithal that I had to have being
Mhm.
from Detroit. That does not make sense.
Especially on the east side.
Oh, see, I did it. I did
I'm
it to
just saying,
myself.
that's a whole nother animal.
I did. You know what? Look, hey, side note, man. Look, man, my homeboy sent me something that said, "Look, if you see this exit, it said Charmers and Charmers and Outer Drive."
Turn around.
Yeah, bro. I'm like, really? Yo, hey, that's my grandma, bro. That's how I get to my. I'm going to my grandma's spot, but you just never know. But anyway, but still, to my point, it's like, how do you expect your child to have those type of things when their life is set up totally different? And technology, man. Look, speak to that. Let's make a little segue into the technology, how that helps, but also hinders
Man,
our children's mental health.
it definitely helps in a sense where you have a lot of kids that can connect with other kids that they would not have been able to connect with had they had to verbalize and be in person, because of whatever reason, deficits, and they don't have the social anxieties and those types of things. It kind of helps in those areas. It helps to build skills and help kids to feel safer to be able to play online gaming and all that. play with kids around the world. You know, that it's a great experience when it comes down to things of that nature. And then it could come on the flip side where you have the whole bullying aspect and people messing with other individuals online, and they got to go to school. And someone made a joke. It's like, how can you just cut it off? How can you be bullied? Just cut it off. But that's only part of it, because you have your friends, you have your group text messages, the group gaming system. Everybody's maybe talking about it, making fun of you, or challenging you to do something because they said something and they got back to you. So even if you did remove yourself from the group, disconnect from the game,
It's still
you
a
got
thing.
the screenshots because somebody gonna send it to you, and you got to deal with that. So all that's messing with your mental, and you have anxieties going. Is either the survival skills kind of kick in. So we're gonna either fight it out. We're gonna have to, God forbid, get a weapon, and you have all those things going. But even if we don't have that ability to kind of feel like we can fight, then all of that lays inside of us as the individual kid who has to hone in on their own emotions and regulate how they should feel and navigate through that. And they kind of shut down, become withdrawn, become depressed, develop social phobias, school phobia, all these things start to build up. And then they stay in the house or they go to school and have all types of issues on the mental health end because they're trying to navigate this whole virtual world.
Bro, man, you just hit so many things, man, that I didn't consider. And I'm sure parents never considered, like how it can create that social anxiety, right? Because of this virtual reality to them is still their reality. And then to another point, the other side of that is they're dealing with hormones at the same time and puberty, right? So they're going through that. And then you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. So I had a young man who was called probably speech and language impaired on some areas. He didn't necessarily deal with social cues well and didn't understand some of the language. So he has this nice little peer group. They're online, they're texting and all of that. But then someone says something, he misinterprets it. Then he's going off because he thinks they're attacking him because you don't have the words. So you don't know. You add your own meaning when you're reading it, and he goes off. It's a big problem. They're like, bro, what's up with you? And they're like, oh, you signed with him. And so he started beefing with them. The whole group died, like dude's tripping. It's this big blow up. He's cussing everybody out. Somebody's parents get involved. He cussed them out. It's a big fight brewing almost, and trying to help him walk these comments back and help him understand where this was a joke. It was misunderstood. You got this mama, that mama, these kids. And it was just like a whole 3-week mess because social media or gaming or whichever one started it, and they couldn't figure out what was up. And it was a big problem. And the kid ended up having to stay at home because he couldn't handle what he was putting out on the group text. And now these kids want to jump him, and he's scared. Mama's going berserk. He got anxiety, but he got to save face in front of these other people.
That's right.
And so you got to peel back layer by layer and try to get an understanding of what was what, and then hope that it works.
So did you help this young man out with the situation?
Yeah, but it was so much time wasted,
Just over miscommunication.
But
man, that's what it is. And it's so crazy, man. That's technology. And it's funny with these text messages and everything because there's no tones, right? You almost have to assume what the person is saying. If they don't use the right words, it can be something as small as a should or could. And if you don't do it, then now you're disrespecting me because I assume you knew what I wanted. You get what I mean?
Right. Or you put emphasis on the wrong thing. You use caps, you use exclamation point. Right. And then you have someone that doesn't have the language that you have or the ability to comprehend or interpret things like you can. And they totally are all the way off with it. And you got to unravel all of that and decipher what that really was.
Man. So, and that's the crazy part because not only does this happen with children, it happens with adults.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now,
A lot of adults have the same issue, honestly. They're
I
getting
mean,
depressed as a teenager.
because but look, when you think about it, some adults is just older children, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because
yeah,
they never really processed, or I'm not even gonna say process at this point, they haven't matured in a
yeah,
way to understand, okay, this is going on in my mind. I cannot charge this individual to something that they don't even know is going on, but that's a different level of
yeah.
emotional intelligence,
And you
correct?
gotta be aware.
Oh, wait,
There's
bro.
some people that aren't aware of any of that you just said. So
Yes.
they're always right, everybody else is wrong, and they believe that they are the one that should be listened to because apparently they have the key to the future. So
Hey, but then hold on. Not only do they have the key to the future, they're the victim.
yeah, always. I'm the victim, or I'm the one that know it all. You should listen to me because
That's right.
I know what I'm talking about.
Yo, because I've been there, I've done that.
Telling
You know what I'm saying? And then the crazy part is, if you don't say what I think,
you. Yeah, you're wrong.
and you the
You're wrong.
problem.
Right. You're absolutely the problem. And then you got the whole I'm woke and the whole other areas that go on and this person's wrong and the universe that and the spiritual this. And so everybody got their thing that they're the expert at. So everybody else is wrong and devalued.
Mm. Woo, man. So, all right, now look, let's go into this, man, because this is going to have to be a part two. I
Yeah,
know
we
it
got
is.
it.
And we need this one. So, what I want to go into real quick is because yeah, that's I think that's going to have to be a different show to go into the adults. But what do you see now that is needed in your profession? Right? What do you think is needed?
So in the field, I'm seeing a lot of hurt, misunderstood individuals, in particular Black males, whether it's adult or youth, where there needs to be some validation, some purpose, goals, love. Let's not even talk about hugs
Yeah.
because we're hurting little boys and me included. When my father passed, I never had hugged my father. He died when I was 15. I never had a hug from him, and I never heard the words "I love you." That is a problem. That's a huge issue. So, men, hug your sons. Men, talk to your sons about more than just sports. That is necessary.
Yeah.
It's essential to their development. So that is something that I'm seeing a lot of because there end up being broken men that do not have any sort of secure attachments because all of the things that they grew up with was disjointed and disconnected. Moms are doing better in those areas, but then sometimes mom overcompensate. Mom does too much. And then you have a mama's boy, or then she's raising her little man as her little husband.
That's
So
right.
it's so many issues that come up with that. So they don't know how to even have a healthy relationship with anybody else. And they don't have a healthy relationship with mom, but it's viewed as a healthy relationship because she's treated me like I was her right hand, the man of the house, and her husband, as well as her son, all at the same time.
At the same damn time.
And so then what does a boy do when he turns 19 or 22 or 25? And when he dates somebody, she's like, I'm not going to put up with you, your spoiled self. And I got to fight your mama too.
Ain't got to fight your mom. Damn it. And so what happens is your mama created a baby boy.
Right. And then your mama going to fight the girlfriend because she don't understand and she don't appreciate, and you a good man.
And look, and ain't no woman gonna be good enough for you.
Absolutely not. But you're the damaged property. You are the one that's damaged, and nobody can see
that. Bro,
oh so many things that come out of that, man. Because I'm thinking of other stuff because you actually, that's probably another thing. But
no, go ahead. No.
But so you got narcissists. Narcissists are created. they are created. They didn't get enough or they got too much. So it's like you have all of this going on now. Everybody's calling out gaslighting and narcissists and all this, that, and the other. It is a lot. It is a whole lot. So it's definitely like a part two. So
Damn, bro. Okay, all right. Well, look, don't go nowhere. Let me wrap this up. Just stay right there. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, if you was man, okay. So it's gonna be a part two. Just know that's gonna happen. All right. But anyway, I want to thank you for being on Healed, and make sure if you want to hear anything in the future, or even catch this sooner than later when I have good exclusive content like this, make sure you go to patreon.com/healed. That's where this is going to be at first, by the way. But anyway, I want y'all to thank Mr. Andre up in the building. Oh. Look, hey, but it ain't over. Okay, so be ready, stay tuned for part two. And again, like I always say, the healing starts with you. Right on, right on. And we're going to see y'all soon. Y'all take care of each other.